is day 142, Notes on River Erosion. Erosion is the movement of sediments from one place to another. Rivers are a major cause of erosion. Rivers carry sediments. That's the main way that rivers will change the topography of an area. Rivers carry them to the mouth. The sediments themselves, the gook that is being carried, is called the load of the river. The amount of sediments is sometimes called the carrying capacity. There are three main factors that affect the amount of sediments carried by a river. First one is how much water is moving. Second one is how fast the water is moving. And the third thing is the types of things that are being moved. All three of those help determine how much gets carried down the river. First of all, the volume. It would be expected that as the river gains volume, it can carry more sediments. The bigger the river, the more dirt it can carry. That makes sense. If you have just a little tiny creek, that's not going to be able to carry as much as the mighty Mississippi. Rivers get more water either by getting more wide or more deep. Either way, there's more water molecules to push on more sediments, so it carries more dirt. So that's the first thing that affects how much gets carried. The second thing, how fast the water is going. Faster water carries more sediments. Faster water carries more sediments. This is because the water molecules will hit the sediments harder, pick them up, carry them up higher. We saw this in a project earlier this semester. We had gutters tilted at different angles. The gutters at a steeper angle had a faster water and washed more sand into the bucket. Maybe you remember that from last semester. Number 3, types of sediments. Some sediments come in smaller pieces than others. Silt and clay are smaller particles than sand and gravel. Rivers can carry smaller particles easier. And so the smaller the sediments, the more it can carry. River erosion causes valleys to be formed. A small stream may create a valley only a few feet across, like in this picture right here. Be better called just a ditch. But over many years, a major river can carve out valleys miles across. As the river flows faster and faster down a mountain, it can pick up more and more sediments, and that helps carve out deeper and deeper valleys in the mountains. Questions on that page? Yep. When a river slows down, it drops sediments. When it slows down, it drops the dirt that it's carrying. Over years, this can create lots of different kinds of features. It can create deltas, something called alluvial fans, and levees. We'll look at each one of those individually now. Deltas. When a river flows into the ocean, the water slows down. The dirt is dropped to make a peninsula. The peninsula has the river running down the middle, and this is what we call a delta. Here's a picture of the Mississippi Delta. Gradually, the state of Mississippi is getting bigger and bigger as it grows out into the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. The largest delta in the United States is Mississippi. At the Gulf of Mexico, this delta has many branches of the Mississippi, each making its own little peninsula. Alluvial fans, then, are something in the mountains. There are times when a river rushes down a mountain and then comes to a flat plain. When it goes down the mountain, it speeds up and picks up lots of sediments. When it reaches the bottom, It drops dirt. It slows down when it reaches the bottom, and it's a flat plain there. So as it's going across the flat plain, it's slowing down and it drops the dirt, and we end up with a big pile of sediments. It's kind of hard to see on this photocopy. Maybe in future years I'll have a better photocopy of it, but we see these little triangular piles. Those are alluvial fans. Levees are the next feature made by dropping dirt. So we've had deltas, dropping dirt in the ocean, alluvial fans, dropping dirt at the bottom of mountains, and now levees. As a river rises slightly above its banks during flood times or whatever, sediments get caught in the grass and plants along the bank, and over many years, the dirt makes a long pile. Dirt makes a long pile, like a wall. And we can kind of see that in this picture. We have the water here, and then there's a flat bank, but then there's this bump here. That's a levee. Sometimes it's made on purpose with bulldozers in order to contain the river when it floods, to protect buildings from the other side, but oftentimes it's just forming naturally. This is to prevent the floodplain from being covered with water. People often make levees to help prevent flooding along the river. Okay, and that's the end of the notes.